Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto India. अभी currently मैं इंडिया ब्लॉकचेन वीक के अंदर एंड अभी मेरे साथ बहुत ही स्पेशल गेस्ट हैं यहाँ पर एप्टॉस की CTO एवरी यहाँ पर हैं तो इनसे हम पूछेंगे एप्टॉस के बारे में. How is your visit going in India?
Oh, it's been wonderful. I've been here since Monday at about 6 a.m. and it's been action-packed ever since. Wonderful place.
But is this your first time in India?
My second time this year to Bangalore. The weather's fantastic.
Tell us more about Aptos. Like lot of development is happening on Aptos. I see like a lot of projects are also coming out of India who are building on Aptos.
India is probably one of the most important places in the world for Aptos developers. It's something that's not well known. So we have more than 40 ecosystem projects building in India today. More than 500 developers building in India. And I think of our 8.5 million monthly active addresses, 6.5 million of those are from what we believe India as a region. So Aptos is really invested in India, and in India I think also really invested in Aptos.
Recently there was a spike in the amount of transactions that happened on Aptos. So can you tell us more about it, like, and how it positions Aptos compared to other players?
Great question. So Aptos is built differently from other layer ones. It's built for scale, for speed, and for low cost. And we thought, going back to my days in Libra and Diem, we were trying to build a payments platform that supported billions of people around the world for the world's largest companies like Facebook, Uber, Visa, and MasterCard. And so we've taken that philosophy with us forward with Aptos to support some of the biggest use cases around the world.
Also, there was a recent partnership with Microsoft and NBC Universal. So how are you working with these guys?
So with Microsoft, it's been helping them experiment with AI and Web3 together. Some of the things we built out with the Aptos AI assistant. We also built a project called Find Out as an experiment to see how people would feel about token distribution in response to Q&A questions. With NBC Universal, it's been a different project. We started to partner with them on different kinds of fan engagement apps. So think about, I don't know if you heard the movie Renfield or The Exorcist. That's a scary one. We've helped them kind of build out Web3 prototypes and games to be alongside. When you go to the movie theater, you can play those games, get token rewards, NFTs, and have them distributed to consumers as a way to improve fan engagement. We've taken that beyond that into a long, deeper partnership now, where we have a multi-year partnership with NBC Universal to build out things across their theme parks, their set of properties like Rotten Tomatoes, their content, and they've got a lot of creative ideas there about how to think about a digital identity for users as they span across their properties, how they think about loyalty products, loyalty points also as well, and exploring the space of what Web3 can do for their myriad of different opportunities for consumers going forward.
So you're already big on India. You have so many projects coming out of India, so many developers. But what more are you planning? Like, are you going to expand more in India? What are your plans?
So the Aptos Foundation has many full-time employees here. Maybe some of you have met Naresh or Sneha or Ayushka. But we're planning to expand the team more. We've seen the community growing here so fast. Just, I think, a couple of days ago, there was a hackathon at Unfold where more than 40 projects of the 200 projects that were submitted there were for Aptos and move-related teams. So it's pretty clear to us that there's a huge demand here for the infrastructure we offer and for the kind of unique properties Aptos Network has. So we should definitely expect more expansion. I think there's been many multiple millions of dollars deployed into the Aptos ecosystem here in India. You should expect the larger amounts of money capital deployed in 2025.
So if developers from India, and if they are listening to this podcast, if they are also interested in building on Aptos and maybe they want to apply for a grant or they want some sort of support from Aptos, so how can they go about it?
There's a whole flywheel for developers to get started, going all the way from, hey, I've got this cool idea, I want to just play around with it, I need a little bit of funding to get started, to the VC funding stage, to kind of self-sustainability. And we've been very fortunate to see companies like KGen make their way through that process. They're well-established entrepreneurs with Manish and Ishank, former CEO of Nazara, who have launched a new innovative product around game reputation score. They built in a couple chains, including Aptos. They then raised capital, and now they're actually profitable. And that's a lifestyle we want for everybody. So the idea is you start off kind of with an idea. We also have winter schools with IIT that we've hosted in the past. And some of the students have actually gone on to then get grants from the foundation, the Aptos Foundation, and then gone on to start to build these projects full-time for themselves. We'll then introduce them to VCs and other entrepreneurs in the space that can help them get connected and get more funding going forward into the future. So lots of good stuff in that space.
What kind of challenges you have faced in India while growing Aptos?
I mean, I think people talk about the regulation being a problem here, but I actually see it very differently. We've seen that there's so many developers out here who are interested in building out great tech that goes beyond the speculation case for Web3. It is truly inspiring for all of us, and I think I don't see any challenges out here. I think the biggest challenge is getting access to funding, but for the projects that have shown themselves to be capable of getting to that level, it's not a challenge at all. There's great funding available for many different teams. As I mentioned, Cajun earlier got raised from Excel, who's a global company. We'll see many more of those projects kind of happening in the future as well.
What kind of milestones do you have for the coming year for Aptos? Like, if you would like to explain to our viewers.
So again, the unique capabilities of Aptos are two things. One is scaling to system limits that no one's ever met before in the past. The other is on a user experience journey. We want to make sure that the integration point for your application looks like a normal internet application. So if you're using YouTube or using Facebook or Google, those experiences are so seamless. They require very few clicks to get into it. And we do the same thing with Aptos. We have two kind of ways of doing that. One is through passkeys. So when you log into your iPhone, you're just going to you use a Face ID scan. That's then tied to a backend passkey. You can do the same thing with Aptos. The other thing is through what we call Aptos keyless, where you can use your Google ID, your Apple ID, or other kind of authentication methods to connect to your Aptos account. In the backend, what it's doing is using zero-knowledge proof to tie into a blockchain-based account and kind of maintains a pseudo-anonymity between them. So this is the key technology we built today, but we've got a lot more coming. We set the daily active record for transactions in the mainnet earlier this year in August. There's an application called Tapas Cat, which is a very fun clicker game, which recorded 326 million transactions in a single day. More than 3,700 transactions per second. And in fact, Aptos holds the top 4 daily records for transactions in a single day. Many multiples of the next chain out there. We do this with our unique technology, our pipeline infrastructure, our novel consensus infrastructure, our dynamic parallelism with block STM. And going forward this year, we've kind of announced that Aptos Experience. Move 2 is coming out, our new language. We also have block STM v2 coming out. We have a new consensus protocol called Raptor being deployed too. And then finally, we also are working on what we call Aptos, a nice play on the way that our naming is set up. But it's going to be kind of a new architecture for financial assets in the future.
Oh, nice. So when we talk about TPS, there are a lot of other blockchains as well, right? They also say that they have a lot of high TPS, but when there are a lot of transactions, we have seen that they have congestion at times. So how does Aptos handle this when you have like a lot of developers building, a lot of new users coming in, maybe a lot of meme coins being built on Aptos?
Yeah, and that is definitely a challenge we've seen in the space with other networks, especially the meme coin workloads that kind of took down Solana for long periods of time. For Aptos, when we had Tapas Cat, that transaction rate far exceeds what the meme coin workload is. We're talking about 3,700 transactions per second. Now, during that time, did fees rise? No, they were still very low, best in industry. Where there's a failure rate increases? No, absolutely not. So while Tapas Cat was busy setting records in Aptos, every other application in the space did not face a single challenge from that. And that's the kind of world you need to see in order to have confidence that if I'm we had a conversation earlier, GeoAlliance, if I'm a GeoAlliance out there, am I going to feel confident to trust my 800 million consumer base on an infrastructure like Aptos? The proof's kind of out there already for them to be able to do that.
But one question I have is like, you're expanding so much in India. So have you been approached by like big names in India, like big companies like Adani, Ambani, Reliance, like to collaborate and work on something?
I'll just say that we are working with companies of all sizes, from the college developer to the Cajuns and Stans of the world to the large conglomerates out there. And we can't announce anything right now, but we will hope to do so in the coming months.
I think something is coming maybe, yeah.
Do we expect to see some meme craziness or with this attention economy which is going on Aptos, or maybe AI agents?
I think we'll definitely see both of those things. So with meme coins, there was a very cool project called emojicoin.fund that launched in Aptos a couple of weeks ago. It's a new take on meme coins where you just have emojis. And that solves a lot of the problems of meme coins where you have people sitting in cages, people getting beaten, live streams, all that kind of stuff that's not really great. It's just a meme. It's just an emoji. And so the other cool thing about emoji coins is you can then tie those into other products in the space. We launched something called Petra Nudge recently in the wallet. And so if you're familiar with Facebook pokes, you kind of just like poke each other on Facebook. Petra Nudge is very similar in that spirit. But now we integrated meme coins. So when you nudge somebody, you nudge them with like an index finger pointing emoji. But it could be also a heart. It could be a like, a thumbs up. It could be a sad face. It could be whatever you want to do. And so this allows us to tie in the kind of emoji coin ecosystem into like a nudging system, tied into the way that Panora handles swaps and aggregations. And it's really cool to see how the permissionless infrastructure and composability of an Aptos can actually then have this meme coin spread throughout the ecosystem in a new and novel way.
So I also want to get your personal opinion on meme coins, because we have a mix like opinion. Some people criticize meme coins and some people just like meme coins because they think it's fun. How do you look at it?
I look at everything in Web3 as a really big social experiment out there. The value prop in Web3 is not as obvious as AI, as mentioned earlier. For Web3, you gotta be more creative. You can't just be like a game that then puts assets on chain, but no one else can use them in any other way, shape, and form. Interoperability needs to be key. There needs to be kind of a scarcity aspect. There needs to be an immutability aspect that's important. Or in AI, maybe it's a data lineage aspect that can't be done anywhere else in the world. So, I'm excited about seeing everyone experiment in this space. Meme coins is a great experimentation, and very much an iteration over the NFTs that kind of took place in the last cycle, right? NFTs were the same idea. You have kind of communities coming together. Meme coins are another way of doing that. And so seeing that experimentation is a very important part of our process to understanding the value for society with respect to Web3.
Awesome. So let's now move to some fun questions. So Avery, Bitcoin is at $100,000. How do you feel?
I feel excited about this, right? It only brings much more attention to Web3, helps people to see that this space, this technology is really inevitable for the change of society and the improvement of society. So for me, I'm excited about it. Yeah. I hope that brings more interest in this space.
Yeah. In the US, we have a new SEC commissioner, right? The chairman, right? That's right. And he is very crypto friendly. So what are your views on that?
Yeah, so Chris Dixon, who's our lead investor and kind of the main lead of H16 in crypto, kind of posted on this earlier today. Yeah. We're all excited, I think, about the new change in the SEC chair. Yeah. And I only hope for great things to happen out of this.
Yeah. I feel about this, like when we had Biden and we had a SEC chairman who was like very against crypto, even after that we saw so much adoption and positive things happening in US. So now when we have a president who is very pro crypto, SEC chairman who is very pro crypto, like a lot of good things can happen.
Yeah, it's a big like.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
It is absolutely a huge change, and I think look forward to seeing regulation being made very clear. That's something that we're looking forward to. The other thing, of course, is just putting America back in a place where they can be leaders in the space of technology adoption. Really important, obviously, too. So very excited about the changes going forward.
So Avery, what's your target for this bull run for Bitcoin? Personal opinion.
We just started. So the 100K is the starting point.
100K is the starting point, right?
I'll answer someone indirectly. I'll say, in general, I think that we're at the starting line, as you mentioned. I think people are starting to realize this technology is real. It's not going away anytime soon. It's not a scam. And so the sky's the limit from here. We want to see all the financial institutions moving their assets, moving their trading settlement, reducing risk onto blockchain in the future. We want to see loyalty programs. We want to see commerce, ad networks being built on crypto going forward. And so this is just the start. But look at where we are in a decade from now, and I think that will kind of show you, if all this stuff happens, it'll be amazing to see the amount of adoption and the way that society changes for the better going forward.
What's your favorite food in India? Let's talk about that. And the favorite
can you handle spicy food, and have you tried Indian food?
I love spicy food. I've been eating Indian food all week long. Onion rava dosa is my favorite food right now.
Okay. Well, that's your favorite. Have you tried but everyone says he's the first one who said dosa, right? Everyone else keeps on saying butter chicken or garlic naan.
Yeah. I do like both of those things too, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But onion rava dosa is something that I love. It's just crispy, it's sweet, and it's got that flavor to it. Yeah. It's fantastic.
It was a pleasure to have you on our channel. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Thank you.
That's fun, guys.
Yeah.